Hello, hello, welcome. I'm so happy to see your face, Sam. I want to start off this video. Let's do a quick little meditation. If you have a second, right on the ground. I expect a few more girls to show up. So let's just do a quick meditation real quick before everybody does. I'd like to put oils on my hand. Before I do it, I'm going to use some CBD oil. Put your feet right there on the ground. Sit cross-legged if you can. I always like to roll my shoulders back, roll my eyes in and up. Focus on that space right between my eyebrows. And breathe in through the nose. Holding it at the top. And then releasing through the mouth. Start to notice any parts of your bodies that feel uncomfortable or pain that you didn't notice before, discomfort. Breathe into those spaces. Hold it. Big exhale through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Just really feel yourself come into your body. Maybe you haven't had time to sit with yourself today. Just feel your body. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Today we're embracing the power that we have, the power that we've been giving to others, and taking that power back, stepping into our real authentic selves, our strongest versions of ourselves, our most confident versions of ourselves, and realizing that everything we need was inside us all along. In through the nose. Hold it. And out through the mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Today I want to talk to you guys about, let me get my video back here. I want to talk to you about, on the wrong page, cleansing treatments on this bonus call. I'm excited. Hey, Sam, I say that you're here live. I'm super happy to have you. I want to talk just a little bit in this training about kind of the order of operations that has taken us here, and what you can expect. Like, where are you at, right? I know that we're already in week 6. We did this bonus week because I wanted to make sure, especially since we're doing this detox challenge in tandem with this course. And so I wanted to kind of align them a little better and make sure that we're all super comfortable with where we're at. There's a very intentional order of operations that we've gone through so far in this course, right? We really started in the beginning talking about the science side of things, right? How the hair works, how products work, how products interact with our hair, how damage happens to our hair, and how really our ultimate goal on the Consciously Curly method is to be super conscious of forms of damage and do the best that we can to mitigate them. The more that we are conscious to forms of damage that we have in our life, the more we can embrace the journey of total hair health. And what we're going to notice, right, there's really two journeys that you're on when you're on the Consciously Curly method. And the first is your long-term journey. It is the sole focus of this first series of the Perfecting the Process course, is talking all about that long-term battle, that embracing the total hair health, right? So likely a lot of you are feeling like you haven't seen the results you're looking for. And I want you to know that this course was intentionally designed to bring you to this moment, right? So what we did essentially, we talked about the science of curls, right? We got the science out of the way so that we understand what's happening. We're conscious about what's going on. I showed you the process, right? The 90-second saturations, raking through your hair before you start cleansing, doing the gravity method while you're raking, right? So it's a 90-second saturation, then it's 90 seconds while you're working water into your hair. How in the beginning it can be difficult to get through your hair. We talked about thumbing, we talked about raking in all directions, right? These are things that as you move through your long-term journey, it's going to be so much easier to get through your hair, right? If you guys are still struggling, even now, 5 weeks into the course, struggling to get through your hair, it's a sure sign, an absolute sign of long-term buildup. And that's what I want to help you guys tackle here in this video today. So we spent the first 5 weeks of this course really being focused on the process. What can you really be the strategy of removing your long-term buildup in the gentlest way possible. If you had long-term buildup that wasn't very extensive, maybe you had just used silicons once or twice, you didn't have hard water at all, which is impossible, right? We've talked about that. Then it is possible, and I have seen in about 2 to 5% of the girls who take my course with me, I've seen people get really positive results just by understanding the science, being conscious to damage, and focusing on the process, right? And that's awesome for the 2% of girls that works for, right? Then we started talking about those gentle cleansing strategies, right? And the way that kind of gentle strategies work is, for example, InnerSense, right? This is the gentle cleanser that I'm almost always talking about when I'm talking about gentle cleansers, because it's the cleanser that as of July 9th, 2020, the only real cleanser that I know that's capable of removing all of the products in its own line, right? And you can absolutely, right, in the detox challenge right now, we're about to get into the second week of that detox challenge. And what we're noticing right now, right, so the detox challenge, right, all the girls in the detox challenge have committed to using InnerSense, and a lot of people are starting to get really frustrated. So I can only imagine how you ladies are feeling week 5. You guys have been going through this kind of detox and like ready to break through your long-term buildup. If you guys are still experiencing that mattedness, that stickiness, that tackiness, the inability to rake through your hair without conditioner or before cleansing or from all different angles, pretty sure sign that you guys have some long-term buildup going on. And so the gentle cleansing strategy, i.e. switching to InnerSense products, can absolutely break through your buildup. 100% if you use InnerSense products and you have the patience of a saint, and depending on how extensive the buildup is, it might take weeks or months or even years, like totally depending on the buildup. What we've done for the last week or 2 of this course is to give you guys some strategies to help break through the buildup. So the cleansing treatments that we're going to talk about in this video, and then all through, so we kind of introduced them next week or last week. Next week, I'm going to give you guys super specific details on how to use each and every cleansing treatment that we talk about. And what you're going to find with these cleansing treatments is that they're going to expedite your detox process. They're going to help you get to a place where you are super comfortable with getting water into your hair. I want to give you a little disclaimer. For many of you, if you're still struggling getting hydration in, right? Sure sign that your buildup is more extensive than maybe we had hoped when we started this course. And I want you guys to really buy into the fact that it might have taken years for your hair to get this buildup, and it's gonna take more than one cleansing treatment to break through it, most likely. So I want you to think of this is probably one of the biggest misconceptions when we start talking about things like clarifying treatments, chelating treatments, using even gentle detox strategies like ascorbic acid or vinegar rinses. What I want you guys to really feel comfortable with is the idea and the misconception that one clarification is all you need to remove all of the products, right? And I see some of you guys shaking your head like, no. Think about it this way. Long-term buildup is our compounds, minerals, metals that are either chemically bonded to your hair, usually with super aggressive covalent bonds that are really, 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 really hard to break. Or they've been in your hair so long, maybe not bonded, but kind of lodged in there, and no cleanser is really like able to get them in their little bubble, right? The way surfactants work, we talked about this, the way surfactants work is they kind of trap dirt and oil and compounds inside of a little bubble so that it rinses away with water. So if the compounds and metals that are in the hair are unable to detach or float away in these little like surfactant bubbles, then they're going to take a little bit of work. They're going to take a little bit of work. And what tends to happen is over time, they dry out, which is totally normal because in our wash day cycle, right? So I talked a little bit about the two journeys that we're on our Consciously Curly journey. The long term and the short term, right? We're going to do content after we get through this initial breakthrough of detox. We're going to talk about how you can use the short term cycle, being your time from wash day to wash day, to your advantage, right? Understanding how products, all of them, build up in your hair. Every single product you use, including InnerSense, builds up in your hair. The question is whether your cleanser can remove them. If your cleanser is not removing the buildup from product or from swimming or from even sometimes I've gone in some like lakes or streams that are just post waterfall. And so there's a lot of like dissolved minerals in that water. It's hard water. We have metals dissolved in our water from our tap, right? So understanding that if your cleanser, whether you're using sulfate cleansers or gentle cleansers, the chances of one single cleanser being able to remove every single compound that you come into or come in contact with is pretty unreasonable. So I talk a lot about InnerSense and how the products are amazing because they're able to remove all of InnerSense products, and that's great, but they're not able, like I know from personal experience, they're absolutely not able to remove chlorine from a swimming pool or from a hot tub. They struggle with removing hard water on a consistent basis. I have to do a hard water treatment fairly regularly. So like this idea that one single cleanser can absolutely remove everything from your hair is ludicrous, including a sulfate cleanser, including a Malibu Undo Goo, including a hard water wellness, right? We have to start becoming conscious to, and what you'll start noticing as your hair starts taking on more and more water as you go, as you start creating more space for more water in your hair, what you're going to start noticing is that your hair, like, you're going to notice differences. You're going to notice at some point, probably very soon, you're going to notice that your hair is the wettest it's ever been, right? And now you know how wet your hair can be. But I want you to know that even still, that's not the wettest your hair can get. Because most likely, if you guys are still here and you're still doing these trainings because you're still having problems getting water inside your hair shaft, then that buildup has had time to dry out in your wash day cycle. Between wash day and wash day, you tend to let your hair dehydrate. All of us do it, including myself. I don't like to wash my hair until I'm sure that the short-term buildup I have is blocking out hydration such that it warrants me to do some damage in washing my hair, because if I'm not doing that damage to wash my hair, I'm doing damage to my hair by dehydrating my hair, right? So you guys are, and this is all, like, we talked a lot last week about the idea of like hand feel and how it comes with experience. The only way you get comfortable with how your hair feels is by feeling it in all conditions, like getting super personal with your hair when it's not taking on hydration, when it is taking on hydration, when it's taking on hydration more than you ever thought it could. Now you have a new goal. Now you know how wet your hair can get, and you still believe that your hair can get wetter. I'm still seeing my hair in conditions where, like, on day 3, it's taking on water when I believe it shouldn't. Like, it will blow your mind, the long-term journey and how different hair saturation gets as your hair gets healthier and as there's more space inside your hair for water to go. So this idea that, like, common convention around clarifying and chelating is that you clarify once, it removes all the buildup in your hair, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore, right? And so a lot of people aren't even sure if detox is a thing. But what I want you to know is that as the buildup is existing in your hair and not being removed by the cleanser that you're using, like, let's be honest, whether we have used conventional products, sulfate cleansers, CGM products, whether you're on all InterSense, like whatever it is, for the most part, we are probably all using one cleanser and sticking with it, right? That strategy is busted. It's busted here because even InterSense, where I know those cleansers remove all of those products, you can't just use InterSense exclusively forever because hard water is real. So even if you live in the sticks and you don't have air pollution and you never, ever, ever go in a swimming pool and all you use is InterSense, you're still probably gonna need to chelate your hair in order to get it as wet as you know it can be at some point, right? But as these compounds, so as we are using this one single cleanser, usually what most women, or what I for sure used to do, like when I was not being conscious about my hair and I was just kind of going about it, is I used to use one cleanser and one conditioner. I'd always run out of the conditioner first. Sometimes I'd buy the same brand, sometimes I'd switch, and then eventually my cleanser would catch up with whatever I switched with. So probably 2 or 3 times a year, I was switching my cleansers. So what happens to women when they hop into this curly girl method idea and the consciously curly method is that you tend to, like, find your products in the curly hair world that work for you and stick with them. But we introduced this concept in week 3 of cleanser rotation and how one cleanser really is not capable of removing every single compound that you come in contact with all the time. So having kind of like a toolbox of cleansers available to you. I know I rotate between shiitake powder cleansing, Inner Sense hair bath cleansing, and I use like 2 of the hair baths. I'll use the hydrating and the pure. Sometimes I'll use ascorbic acid. I have that readily available in my bathroom so that on any given day I can throw a teaspoon of ascorbic acid in with conditioner and do an ascorbic acid cleansing treatment, right? I also have both Malibus available to me, small bottles that probably will last me 3 years each. And I have the Hard Water Wellness and the Malibu and Dugu, and I probably reach for them 2 to 3 times a year, right? Because cleanser rotation is super helpful. The long-term buildup is not happening generally, like except for pool water, I would say, long-term buildup is not happening like in your face, step change, you're gonna instantly notice it. Slowly over time, you're gonna realize that your hair is not getting as wet as it used to be. And you have to start pulling out the stops, pulling out all of the tricks that we taught you in this course to try to figure out why. As the compounds are sitting in your hair and not being removed from the one single cleanser that you've chosen, you're creating layers of crystallization. And when you're using a cleansing treatment, especially for those of you who are just getting started, you have many layers of long-term buildup. It might be a layer of product buildup and then hard water buildup and then product buildup and then product buildup that crystallized before and then a new layer formed and then another hard water, like whatever it is, it's random. Every single molecule could be random, right? And when you are doing a cleansing treatment, you're taking off whatever the cleanser can come in contact with. So if there's another layer behind it, it's not going to be as good as it can be, right? So if you're feeling frustrated, like I've tried clarifying, I've tried chelating, I tried ascorbic acid, like it's not working, what I want you to do is look back at your homework from week 1. Look back at your homework from week 2, because every single thing about this journey is relative. It's so relative. So really start embracing the fact that you are most likely, in 99.9% of cases, the women that I see that are frustrated right now in their journey because they feel like they've tried all the things, what's really happening is you've actually progressed a lot. And if you stopped and looked back, this is why we have you. This is why in the first week and in the welcome week, we spend so much time talking about tracking your process. Because I bet you if you look back on your process right now and you really sit with yourself and you look at like, what was I struggling with then? What did my hair look like then? What did my hair look like when it was wet then? What was the wettest I could get my hair then? And you ask those same questions about where you're at right now, you'll see the progress for sure. By the way, I know I've been kind of ranting since I started this video, but if you ladies have any questions at all, throw them in the chat below. Stacy already has. Stacy says, I've been rotating between hydrating and pure, AA and apple cider vinegar. So yeah, I mean, I'm still conflicted on the use of apple cider vinegar as a formal like cleansing treatment. I didn't include it in this course intentionally because it's more of a scalp treatment for me. It doesn't have the properties that ascorbic acid has as an acid to really do the detox that we're looking for. What apple cider vinegar is amazing at is regulating the pH of the scalp, helping new hair growth be the fucking best it can be. Like it's amazing at that, right? So I still love the idea of incorporating it into your cleansing routine. I tend to, so if you start Googling like apple cider vinegar rinses, you'll notice a lot of women out there use it as a conditioning treatment. I call it a cleansing treatment because in the curly hair world, it is not conditioning. Sorry, not sorry. Like, it's kind of conditioning in the sense that it's an acid, so it helps the cuticles lay flat and like reverse the alkaline cleansers. But I mean, in terms of what we need conditioner to do, like apple cider vinegar is a joke. So do you add ascorbic acid to conditioner or shampoo? So great question, Jeannie, because I was super conflicted on this for a long time. Because I had done like all this research on how cleansers work, right? Cleansers are super alkaline. They open that cuticle of the hair shaft so that the surfactants and the cleansing agents can get inside of there and really do their job, right? So alkalinity is super, so it always blew my mind when I learned about ascorbic acid. At first, I believed it didn't work, but I knew so many people who believed that it worked, and I just was like, you're never gonna know if you don't try, Lo. So I tried it, and it worked, right? And if you guys go back to that post that I made on ascorbic acid, there is so much information in there about why it works. It's awesome, but it's an acid. So when you put it with a shampoo, I mean, I've still been able to get some results, but after the last like 6 weeks of research I've really done on ascorbic acid, I'm absolutely convinced that using it with conditioner pre-cleanse is the way to go. But Stacy says she uses it in shampoo and she's happy. So, and I've used it in shampoo and had results. But just, you know, based on kind of my comfort level on the research I went through, like it makes sense for me to use it as basically what would be called like a pre-poo treatment. So pre-poo is another word for dry conditioning, was the term that we used in this course, where you're like conditioning your hair before you cleanse so that you can get through it and get water through it. That's essentially what I would use ascorbic acid for. And I've been using ascorbic acid a lot more recently. And the other strategy that was not included in this course that will absolutely be added to this course the next time around is what I think I'm going to call the fire starter. So like this motion. So I'll like put probably double the conditioner you would normally use, right? So I'll use like 2 pumps of conditioner instead of 1. And I'll add like 1 to 2 teaspoons of ascorbic acid to it and emulsify it really good. I always start on my scalp. So when I start on my scalp, you have to be super careful because you have product in your hand and you don't want to waste it on one portion of your scalp. So I tend to like go in like this and then go in like this. So like then I have the bottom and I have the top, but I have a lot of issues right here on my crown at the whorl. So I'll kind of force the part. You can do this upside down or you can do this right side up. I probably like go in upside down, and then I'll like come partially up so that I can get the part at the whorl, and then I'll do the rest kind of dabbed in and rubbed in there. And then I'll scalp massage, right? So that 60-second scalp massage times probably 3. I would say 180 seconds of scalp massage. I gotta get rid of the bangs. I'm so over the bangs. I'm sorry, ladies. They gotta go. You probably never see me with bangs again. So if you love it, take notes. Awesome. I just did ascorbic acid with shampoo early on, maybe 3 months ago. I didn't want to clarify before this course. I didn't want to do more damage than necessary. Okay, so now is the time, Jeannie. Are you still struggling? I'm like trying to remember your homework assignments. I think like if I could see them, it would be so much more helpful. But maybe I'm like just gonna look back on the last week and see if you have it there. This is why the homework is super important, because I can help you notice the step changes that you're experiencing from week to week to week, and help you guys right now decide, like, do you need a chelator? Do you need a clarifier? Have you tried clarifying yet? Maybe we need to try clarifying again, like, et cetera, et cetera. So the homeworks are so super valuable in order for me to help give you guys guidance on your next steps. And that's definitely something where, like, I feel like we can do better. So maybe what I'll do is, we're gonna have to do another call probably, so that you guys can post some homework for me, so that I can see your hair when it's wet and compare it. Like, I know everybody was doing homework the first week, and basically nobody is doing homework on the 4th and 5th week. So in order for me to help you guys with where you're at in your journey, I need to see the progress that you've made so far and where you're at. So, like, I want to say, if you did ascorbic acid 3 months ago and you haven't done anything since then it's probably time to do something. But honestly, if your hair is accepting hydration and the problem with, or like frustration with your curls is more so in that, like, the curl creation and the encouraging, or the elongating and the sealing, or the drying process, like, those are kind of outside of this course, but coming up as a part of the perfecting the process course, right? So so I don't want to recommend you do something like a Malibu and Dugu if your hair is accepting hydration, because it's just unnecessary damage. So we have 10 minutes. I definitely, like, we have 10 minutes so we can talk out. Jeannie, if you want to just, like, turn on your mic, we can talk it out.
Hey.
Hi. So let me just read your comment. I did ascorbic acid 3 months ago. I didn't want to clarify before this course. I did an Inner Sense moisture mask this week. Yeah, aren't those amazing?
Yeah.
Can
you use that weekly?
No, I don't do anything weekly besides, like, cleansing and, like, normal stuff. I let my hair speak to me, and it's hard to, it's like, you're just gonna have to trust your intuition. If your hair is feeling like it's dry, like, sometimes for me, when I make the judgment call about whether I'm gonna do a moisture mask or not, it's not until after I did a cleanse, or, like, maybe I didn't even cleanse. Maybe my hair is just dry, and so I did, like, a double condition and it's still not taking on hydration. What I'll do is, like, mental note, I need to cleanse and do a hydration mask tomorrow because my hair hates me today.
Okay.
Or I'll do, like, I'll go in the pool twice, like, don't care, no hair cap, no, like, nothing to protect my hair before I go in the pool, and not trying to keep my hair dry. And so, like, I know, like, 2 weeks ago, I was in the pool like 4 days in a row and didn't care. So I knew that I was going to have to pay for that. So I did several ascorbic acid washes. I did a Malibu and Dugu. I think I even did a hard water wellness, like, over the last 2 weeks. I've probably done, you know, a hand, like, so I've been using the hydrating mask and a lot of double conditions to make up for that. You
Okay.
know? But I just didn't care. You know what I mean?
So what I noticed after the mask, when I did the mask and I rinsed it out, I couldn't believe how soft my hair felt. Like, it was amazing. But then it said to condition with the conditioner afterwards. So I rinsed out the mask, and then I put the conditioner on and rinsed it out. And it didn't feel as soft after the conditioner as it did after the mask.
How is it like, when you just get your hair wet? What's that like?
What I've been doing is I've been dry. Okay, so I've been dry brushing, starting at the ends and working my way up. And then putting on the conditioner, like dry conditioning, which is a huge help. Then I get in, I wet it for the 90 plus seconds while I'm doing it. And it's better And then when I shampoo it, it's not slick after I shampoo it.
Right.
Like
what are you shampooing with?
Sense, the hydrating.
Okay.
And then, so then I did.
Are you getting a lather?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, not the first time. And if it's
Okay.
been a while, not even the second. To like the first time I used it, I think it had been over a week. So I've used, or maybe I had done things where I had more sweat that week. Maybe I'd been having more hot flashes.
Yeah.
So it took the third one, but I go until I get a lather, and I'm emulsifying before. But then, so then after the conditioner, I mean, I can get my fingers through fine, but and I'm brushing it with the Denman, and then I'm doing it with my fingers first, then I'm doing it with the Denman, and it's soft after the Denman.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is with my hair, it feels soft right now, like with the Inner Sense dry, but it's much more knotted at the ends than it was when I was using the Copaiba vanilla.
So how about, you were using Young Living before this.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like? So you finger detangle and then you do the Denman. Do you go back to finger detangling after that?
Mm-hmm.
How's that feel?
It doesn't stay soft. Like it is. And I will say it's much better than when I started. I can definitely see an improvement.
Yeah. So what about like after you Denman? What I would do is like go upside down, rake your fingers through. You'll probably be able to get through pretty easily, especially if that's where you left off at the Denman.
Mm-hmm.
Then like go to one side. If you feel like your hair is like, if you do it when your hair is dry, your hair is going to stay like naturally separated and like, whatever, if you go from one side to the other, right? But when it's wet, and especially if there's buildup, what you're going to notice is that it all kind of sticks together, and like, and then raking through it is going to be kind of a pain in the butt.
It is. Like I've done that. I've gone to the side, and especially at my scalp, it doesn't want to, it doesn't just go. Like I've got to kind of shake my hand to get it to actually go over. Does that make sense?
So how did it feel after the ascorbic acid?
Oh gosh, that was very early on. I did that. I can't remember.
So why don't you start there?
Okay.
Start there. Try it.
Okay.
And I would use it with conditioner, like in your pre-poo, but get your hair wet before you pre-poo. So try that, and then let's see where you're at after that. I assume you have product buildup, but it's possible you don't. So let's just go with the gentlest version first and see what it does,
Okay.
And definitely let me know. The posts in our mastermind right now are open, so you can make a post in that group. I get all the notifications in that group, as opposed to like the free community. What I try to do is just scroll through it when I have some time. But inside of the Perfecting the Mastermind, inside of the mastermind, I'm in there. So make a post, let me know how it goes, and then we'll analyze what to do next. Okay. So Sam says, I haven't had to use a clarifier in almost 2 months. I've definitely noticed an increase in hydration. I've been consistently using Inner Sense Color Radiance. I recently bought the hydrating line to try. I also have Shea Moisture and I'm experimenting with. You're noticing a lot of frizz. Yeah, I've seen a lot of your posts, Sam. I for sure think you have long-term buildup. Have you done an ascorbic acid treatment or an apple cider vinegar treatment or any of the Malibus? Like, where are you at on that scale? Because I definitely think we're gonna have to go there.
I have the Malibu Undo, but I haven't used that in a while. But as far as apple cider or ascorbic acid, no, I've not tried any of that.
And you don't have either of them?
No, I don't have either of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the Malibu and Dugu, here's the thing. I say you just use it. At some point, if you haven't done like an ascorbic acid or an apple cider vinegar, I know you've been at this for a while, and at some point, like if you try every natural remedy and like try to do all the gentlest things first, you end up just doing as much damage as the Malibu and Dugu anyway. I definitely recommend you use it sparingly, and your hair is probably not going to feel beautiful afterwards. So afterwards, go back to basically the beginning of this course. The thumbing, the raking, that maybe you're going to have to pre-poo. It's basically going to feel like it's dry, most likely. It's going to feel like it's dry and matted and all stuck together. So almost treat it as if it's dry. It's completely dry. So do like a pre-poo, just like put conditioner on the outside, do some thumbing, like work through it, because it's probably not going to be pretty. If you have a bowl and you can like give your hair, or either a bowl or like the InnerSense hydrating hair mask or something. And what I would do, honestly, if your hair reacts that way and it's not that happy after the Malibu and Dugu, I wouldn't even try to style it that day. I would just do the bowl method or hair mask and braid your hair and like let it have a night off. You know what I mean?